Impact Show. We are live from the studio here in Windsor Heights. Can you hear me? Test. All right, see, this is what happens when you do live sometimes. That's the way this goes. But we are live here from the studio here in Windsor Heights. And because I didn't wear my glasses today, which seems to be a reoccurring thing for me, I got the phone number so I can read it. If you would like to reserve the studio, the number is 515-996-0326. Again, that is 515-996-0326.
The top button, where it said make sure it's not on mute.
I think she unmuted it and then muted it again when you.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay, here, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, you go ahead.
Okay, am I good? I'm gonna leave this out in case someone needs to come jump in here and fix this for me. That'd be the better way to go to make sure we're all good. But again, we want to thank Lauren Campbell and give her a shout out for allowing us to use this space where we can to you each and every Sunday. I am your host, Tawana Bradley here. My co-host will be here with me very soon. So we're just gonna kick things off on some of the things that have been happening in our city. We have had the NCAA tournament here for the last couple of days. I don't know about you, but I am finding myself liking basketball a little bit more than probably I used to. So we have been in our household filled with basketball games from sun up to sundown, focusing on the NCAA tournament. And I don't know about you, but that Kansas and Arkansas game, I don't know if anyone was in here and seen that game, but that was an amazing basketball game. So here's the deal. There's not any teams I particularly really care for. I just love a good basketball game. And so the Kansas and Arkansas game was a really good game. Watched the Pittsburgh game last night. Shout out to Lewis Fountain. I think I seen you there at Wells Fargo last night. You correct me if I'm wrong, but shout out to Lewis Fountain and many other people who had the opportunity to be able to be in our city. I hope everyone that was here enjoyed their time within our city and was able to just see Des Moines for what it was. I don't know if you all checked out the commercials that Catch Des Moines made. I don't know if anyone's seen that. Madison, did you see that commercial? So Catch Des Moines made this really cool commercial kind of highlighting our city, but it showed us from a sports standpoint. The commercials aired during the NCAA tournament, made Des Moines look really cool, and that's a really great place to be. So shout out to Catch Des Moines and everyone who was involved with being a part of the NCAA tournament. That was large for us. I know my son, he won't forget it. He got an opportunity to be a part of the, Pennsylvania and Texas. I think that was the game that was played last night. So he got an opportunity to be in that crowd and also see the tail end of the Kansas game. So again, shout out to everyone with the NCAA tournament. Some other things that are happening within our city. Today, I'm really excited for some of the guests that we're gonna have here on the Urban Impact Show. We're gonna be talking a little bit about child labor laws. Don't know if you all are familiar with that, but the legislature is looking of doing some changes to our child labor laws. Now, I don't know about you, but I remember working and it was very strict. As 14-year-olds, you had to be off by 7. I think you could only work 20 hours a week, if I remember correctly, during that time. And so it was really particular about when 14 and 15-year-olds are working. It looks like now there's going to be some changes within that. So we'll have a guest later on today who's going to talk to us about why those changes matter and how they feel about the work that our legislature is doing as far as the child labor laws are concerned. We also are going to have a very special guest, Pastor Diane Koger. I'm not going to share too much more about her, but just want you to know that she will be coming up this month as we here at the Urban Impact Show are continuing to focus on Women's History Month. It is the month of March, and we have some great women within the city of Des Moines and actually the state of Iowa who are making their mark and are doing amazing things. And here at the Urban Impact Show, we want to make sure that we uplift those individuals. We want to make sure that you know who those individuals are, and we want to make sure you know how to connect with those individuals. So all month long here on the Urban Impact Show, we will continue to be focusing on Women's History Month and the great impact that women are making. Speaking of women, shout out to the University of Iowa basketball team. They are the only team right now that is still in the NCAA tournament. So I'm sad that Iowa State has gone. Drake is out. The University of Iowa men are out, but today the University of Iowa women won another game, so they are moving on. So I want to give a shout out to the team. I said that it would take the women to get us through for the NCAA tournament. So excited that they are still a part of the mix, and we're looking forward to cheering them on their next game. So those are a few things that are happening here within our city. We are going to take a moment for a short break, and we're going to be back with our first guest, Pastor Diane Koger. We'll be right back with the Urban Impact Show. Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, where we have our first guest of the day. I'm really excited for this guest. We have Pastor Diane Koger of the Second Baptist Church in Ottumwa, Iowa. Welcome to the Urban Impact Show.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. So talk to us a little bit. We're going to get going because this 10 to 12 minutes is going to go by real fast. So I want to make sure we get in as much information as we can. But tell me a little bit about you.
So, I started this journey as just a reverend in the church and just working under my pastor, and just a call came that Second Baptist needed a pastor. And so we would go down and visit and help fellowship with them over the course of 2 years. And so now we've been pastoring 5 years. And so answering the call to be a pastor was kind of not my idea. I'm more of a customer service type person. Like I like the feel. And so I love doing evangelism work. But God had a different plan. So I just answered the call and took the strive to move forward and do what I do best, serve Him.
Yeah, well, that is great. And I want to make sure I get this right. Just for all of you that may not know, Pastor Diane is the first African-American missionary Baptist pastor in the state of Iowa. So that's large. Talk a little bit about what that recognition or that title means to you.
So when I think of that title, I think of servant, someone that has been commissioned to serve. And so that title sometimes can be where it can put you in a place of limitations. But when I look at it as an opportunity to serve others, to support others. And so being in that position as a woman can be kind of tiring. It can be kind of challenging, actually, and it can be a struggle. But I've learned that since I've been pastoring, God has really been teaching me that it's the anointing that you have to operate under and not so much the title, because the title can really mess up the whole mission to what you're supposed to be doing. So you're more focused on being an image of Jesus, being a servant, loving others, and serving others. As a woman, sometimes it can be difficult in leadership because we have different leadership styles as a male and the female. So still learning some of that.
Right. Well, you are in Ottumwa, and so I'm going to say this being funny, but we do know there's black folks in Ottumwa, but someone's going to say there's black folks in Ottumwa. So tell us a little bit about the population that you serve in Ottumwa and just a little bit about Ottumwa in general.
So I love Ottumwa. I have grown to really embrace that community. They've embraced me very well and received me with open arms, which is really great. I would say the population that we have, to be honest, when I came to Iowa, I had the same impression. But I come from Chicago, Oak Park, Illinois, where we have a very diverse community. And so Ottumwa is the same. A lot of people just don't know that they have black people in Ottumwa. But we try not to be that church as the black church. We desire to be the church of Christ, that welcomes all people from all walks of life, not to be judgmental, but to be more of a service and a servant of God's word. And so just being in Ottumwa has been really a blessing. And I enjoy the work. We're really excited about being there. We've been there now 7 years, traveling back and forth from Des Moines to Ottumwa. It's an hour and a half drive, but 3 hours or so. But yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, that's a huge commitment, on your part to be living here in this city and making the trek to Ottumwa probably on a weekly basis. I'm assuming maybe more if you're needed to be able to do that. So that's a huge commitment, for you. So talk about the passion behind that, because I know many people, we give up on stuff that's right in our backyard, but to make the commitment to, be a part of that community and driving back and forth, talk about the passion behind that and why it matters to you.
So my passion for just ministry overall is just answering the call. And sometimes the call may be difficult, it may be different than the norm, but when you're answering the call of God on your life, I always go back to Abraham as my mentor of being obedient, is that he just answered the call to go when the Lord told him to go and offer his son as a sacrifice. Me and my husband, we enjoy, coming from Chicago, it's like distance. So when I got to Iowa, I was like, how is this a long distance? Only an hour and a half away. But everybody's like, oh, that's a long trip. I think about how good God is and how it's no comparison. it's no comparison. It's ministry. And so we enjoy all the greenery, all the drive, the things that, I don't know, for us, it's an enjoyment. And so my passion for it is just ministry. Ottumwa is a community that really, really can use a lot of support as far as ministry and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. I know doing some other things in Ottumwa, besides being pastor there in Ottumwa, you all are also preparing to celebrate your Juneteenth festivities, and I know you're heavily involved with that. So talk a little bit about the work that you'll be doing with Juneteenth in Ottumwa.
So Juneteenth, a lot of history has been lost, and we're trying to bring Juneteenth as awareness to let them know the freedom that's available now, because we still have some of that all over, not just Ottumwa, but we still deal with a lot of racism. We still deal with a lot of issues. Unfortunately, history is not the way it used to be. We grew up with history in school. Frederick Douglass, Rosa Parks, all these different ones. And then growing up in Chicago, we have a lot of ones that have paved the way for history. And so I found myself sitting back talking to my grandkids about history, talking about the first ladies of Iowa. I start picking up all the different ladies that have made history in Iowa, but they're hidden figures, they're hidden. And so with Ottumwa Juneteenth, we want to embrace the community so that they can embrace us and understand everybody doesn't come with a negative impact for your community. We're there to be a part of your community. We're part of the Equity and Diversity Committee. Me and my husband is the chair of that in Ottumwa. We're also part of Viva Ottumwa. You know, we're really active in that community. So Juneteenth is really, I'm excited because it didn't start with me. And here's the beautiful part about that with Ottumwa. Goes back to, you know, just killing the racism with kindness and love, is that some of the forefront leaders that started Juneteenth, it didn't come through Second Baptist. We got involved because they asked us, will we help shape that community? Will we help shape Juneteenth? So me and my husband now, being that I've moved into the president of that committee, is just making sure that there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom out there about our talents, you know, things that we do. You know, kids don't even know that everyday things you use in your home, a black person invented it. There it is, you know? And so it's bringing that awareness, bringing out that awareness in a positive way so that in the community that the kids and the people can say, oh, wow, you know, they're still doing great things. They're still doing good things, you know, like my granddaughter, she said, Grandma, I can't believe I Googled you and you popped up. Oh my God, Grandma. She, you know, and then she started saying, well, who's in law force that made history? Who's in the educational world that made history? So now she's learning that she can be the change that the world needs to see. You know, just embrace it.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And this is why I love having these conversations, because it's important. I think for myself, I've said this over and over again, I get so caught up in what's going on in my city. You forget about the other cities across the state of Iowa that are also needing help, that are also needing assistance, that also want you to be a part of it. So I think the work that you're doing in Ottumwa is great. We're excited at Iowa Juneteenth to be partnering with Ottumwa. So we're super excited. It's kind of our announcement for today is that we will be working with Ottumwa this year for Iowa Juneteenth, starting to bring cities underneath our umbrella to really help guide, because we want every city across the state of Iowa to be celebrating Juneteenth. It shouldn't just be a Des Moines thing. It shouldn't just be a Waterloo thing or a Davenport thing. It should be an everyone thing. So we're really excited about getting that work started for Ottumwa and for its residents as well.
You guys have been amazing at that. I mean, starting now, kind of picking up the torch from where it already originated and running with it. I was just so blessed to be able to call Iowa Juneteenth Committee, get them to help support. I mean, they came, rolled their sleeves up, and came beside us to say, this is what you do to bring in money to help support. This is what you do in your community. These are the, it's just awesome, because we have to realize that when you think about the legacy of Juneteenth, you think about the freedom, the enslaved, it was, I mean, it was everyone was together. Everybody worked together. And so I'm excited that you all are connecting with the different communities, especially at Ottumwa. We're really, really, really excited about that.
Yes, we are excited to be down in Ottumwa soon, to be able to just kind of see the lay of the land and to be able to work with you. One thing, I know
Yes.
our time is running short, but I also wanted to mention that you are a business owner as well.
Yes.
Can you just talk just briefly about the work that you do here in our city?
So in Clive, we have a child development home of 16 children. Started out that journey with a Amazing Panther Learning Center, downgraded to that so that I can be able to still do ministry
Right.
and do childcare. And so I love that because one of my goals eventually is to have a school like Marva Collins in Chicago. She had a preparatory school that enriched children. So I enjoy serving our community, serving our children, and just educating them, getting them ready for kindergarten. When they go to kindergarten, teachers are like, what school did they go to? But when you have a passion for children and a love for them to grow, that's important. You know, you want to make sure you continue to do that. And then I wrote a book, and then I put that into action and started that book line right after my mother passed from COVID. I just said, well, I guess what I can do is just do something different.
Right.
So wrote a little bit of legacy about that.
Yes, well, that's great. You know, you are doing amazing things, and I thought that it would be so fitting to have you here as we celebrate Women's History Month to share about the great things that you're doing and the impact that you're making, not here just in the Des Moines area, but across the state of Iowa. So I just want you all to continue to check out Urban Impact Show. We'll get some information about Pastor Diane Koger and how you can reach out to her if you are needing her for anything, or anyone in Ottumwa who is looking for a place to worship. I'm sure that Second Baptist Church would love to have you in their midst. So Pastor Koger, thank you so much for being on the Urban Impact Show. We wish you nothing but the best as you continue to really make an imprint on the state of Iowa. So we're grateful for the work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, no
Thank
problem.
you.
We will be right back, and we will take a short break here at the Urban Impact Show.
Hey guys, we are back with the Urban Impact Show, and we are on the segment of If I'm Being Honest. Well, I tell you, I am, if I'm being honest, I'm tired of John Morant being in the news.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it.
I am too, because this is like week 3 for us,
Yeah.
bringing him up. So I'm with you.
It stays in the news.
I know it does, but like I always say, news is what we give it.
Yeah.
You know, if we give it the airtime, everyone's gonna keep talking about it. So tell me why you're tired of him being in the news.
You know, I mean, he's made a mistake, but I guess at this point, I'm trying to help him figure out what he should do to get out the news. I know he doesn't want to lose his contract, his sponsorship. He's losing a lot of money, but you know, I guess.
So is he done from the NBA altogether, or just for the season, or just the Grizzlies?
8 games.
Oh, only
okay.
8 games. So I heard that with the interview he just did, but I thought they said indefinitely. They came back and changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there was some misinformation out there because I was looking this up because I wasn't altogether familiar with everything, so I started looking it up, and it looks like there was some things out there that made it seem like the NBA commissioner had said he was out indefinitely, but that wasn't really factual information. So yeah, that
I was gonna
getting
say
out
that
there.
was a little harsh.
Well, he's trying to say the weapon wasn't his, and I get it,
I
but
seen that.
it's just at this point, he's got to sit it out. You know, he's got to sit it out and take his punishment.
And they were
That's-
saying the pictures from the club where they were old. That was old. It wasn't
Yeah.
like recently.
And I'm pretty sure at this point, well, he's gonna need that money anyways. But
Well, because I'm like, but to me, that was just wrong timing. Whoever put, because it made us say like, okay, like if you're in trouble, pretty much, and then look at how you're just laughing at the trouble, pretty much that you're in because you're out partying.
Yeah.
But it makes either. I mean, I hope he's not lying, but it makes more sense if that was kind of older and just kind of how the blogs and everything's work. They'll get old stuff just to keep it relevant, just to keep us talking about him every week. Now, I did think that. How'd you guys feel about the person who interviewed him? 'Cause I'm like, why did they pick him? Wasn't he always like in a lot of trouble too? Back in the day, is that why?
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
probably so.
yeah. So he can kind of almost, kind of tell him what he shouldn't be doing. I guess just so he's not discouraged. I'm guessing. You know. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, next thing. If I'm being perfectly honest, I can't wait to relax and watch some Netflix. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things on Netflix right now. It's hard having a family. You know, sometimes you don't get to sit down much, but
or you don't want to watch certain things with the kids.
with the kids around, yeah, that's right. That's right. Swarm. So, have you guys heard anything about Swarm?
You tell me what you heard, 'cause I'm like, y'all be keeping me up sometimes.
So I've
things, I don't know.
I've heard people talking about it. I've seen that it was a new show. I feel like I'm watching so many shows that it's like, okay, I want to watch this show and give it my all and be finished with other shows first. But I did hear that Swarm was kind of a playoff of like Beehive.
Okay, yeah.
And not anything directly, meaning that these are things Beyonce's did or doing, but I think they're just trying to make a play off of super fans and things like that. So I think it is an interesting show, but probably will wait until I'm through some of the shows that I'm watching, because it sounds like something I want to give my full attention to.
Yeah, me too. And next thing is, I can say, the weather breaking. Are y'all ready for some nice weather?
Oh, been ready. You know what? This is the place that I love to not live. Like I'm just like in the wintertime, I'm complaining because it's too cold. Come June, I'll be complaining about it's too hot. But I'm ready for this weather to break. I don't want any more snow, but unfortunately, you know how this goes. We've seen snowfall during Drake Relay's time, so that's still another over a month out. But yeah, I'm ready for this to break. But I did see them little, I don't know what, geese, birds, whatever you call them, out by my house. They only come out when the weather's about to change. So when I seen them today, I was like, okay, spring is coming because you're waddling across the street. So I'm excited. It's time for the weather to change. I'm ready to bring out the colors. Like I feel like when it's fall and winter, I revert to brown and black. I don't know why I go to those colors, but then when spring comes, it's a little more colorful during that time.
And the weather makes you just feel, when it's nice out, you feel better too. Yeah, you feel better. That sun's beaming on you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there you go.
We are in a state of weather, like a weather depression.
Oh yeah, I
seasonal
believe it.
depression.
Yeah.
I did a report on it maybe 10 years ago in one of my classes, but yeah, we have a lot of seasonal depression.
I believe that, yeah. Especially, the wintertime is probably really when it's at its worst. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we're at the tail end of rain, snow, anything.
Yeah.
That's what I mean?
That's what I'm hoping for. I can deal with the rain. I was complaining about the rain for a minute, but then the lady was like, well, at least it's not snow. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. At least it's not snow.
Snow's a little bit easier for the hair. Rain, like literally.
Oh, rain messes you
Yes.
up. That's like
Snow, like, little drizzles will hit it and you can run to the car real quick. Rain is not like that.
I know Jamal's looking at us like, I don't have the hair problem.
Well, I don't have the hair issue, but rain, I just like how rain sounds late at night. Yeah, I like how it sounds.
Yeah. No, that's
There you go.
Oh, see, but rain and hair. I looked at someone, they wanted me to go outside to do something, and I was like, where's the umbrella?
No.
And they was like laughing at me. I said, no, I'm not. I'm not laughing.
This
I said,
costs too much to do.
when you go every other week
Yeah.
to pay someone, I need an umbrella. Like we're not discussing it. So I guess they found out real quick I wasn't joking, and I got that umbrella. So so it's all good.
So the games are here in Des Moines. We got some good revenue. A lot of people were here. And actually, you know what? It made our town look good. It made the city look
I'm
good.
happy they keep coming back. That means they like you. They've been here for track, basketball. Get us a professional team.
There we go.
Anything.
Yes.
Anything. Yes. If I'm being honest, please get us a professional team. We showed you that you guys can make the revenue. While y'all here, people gonna come out. You know, people are gonna fly. People fly in. You know, we had the AAU National Olympics a few years ago, and that's a huge deal too. We had NCAA track. Was it the Olympic trial? Something else here.
Yeah, there was something here. Yeah.
And people are gonna come. So give us a team.
Even Kamala Harris came to watch her alma mater, Howard.
She did. Yeah, she did at that. No, I'm with you. Like, we had so many people here. My son got, still don't know how he got that ticket, but he got a ticket to the last, not Kansas, he's seen the last 10 minutes of the Kansas game, but then stayed for the, what was that, Pennsylvania and Texas? Yeah, he got to stay for that last game. And he just told me, he's like, I've never seen that many people. Like, because normally when we go to Wells Fargo, we're going for games that aren't really filling. Unless you're there for a concert, then you see it filled. But very rarely do we, depending on the event, do we see it filled. And he said that like every seat in that building was filled. And I think it seats about 20,000 people plus. So that was really great for our city.
West Des Moines is really busy, and because I'm sure that's where people stay. That's why they're building all the hotels out there. You can tell too when something big is gonna come here, because they start building up a bunch of hotels out here. And so it's like, oh, we got something big coming in a few years. But I live in West Des Moines, and it's like everything's packed. The streets is packed. You know, I rode past the mall. I'm like, dang, it was like 11. I'm like, why is the mall packed like that?
I'm sure Jordan Creek did really good this weekend.
Heck
Like, I'm sure they all came out there. But I will say, watching TV, I remember telling my mom, because we've been watching these games like crazy, and my mom is like an avid basketball fan. Like, she's the person that you're like talking to her, she's not responding because she's like, I'm watching the game. Like, stop talking to me. But I will say, watching the games last night, we looked real good as a city. Like, you couldn't tell you were in Des Moines,
It made
Iowa.
you feel proud, like a parent. Like, look at Des Moines on TV.
Yeah, we all grown up now, you know?
ESPN. Look at Des Moines.
Yeah, so I gave a shout out to Catch Des Moines. I know they were a part of it, and anybody else who was really a part of making things a reality for us. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I guess this happens for us again in another 4 years. I'm not quite for sure. I think we get this every 4 years.
They bid like that, so yes.
Yeah, but so I would just encourage whoever bids on things, let's get more things here in Des Moines. Like, I think so many people think, I know we still have a ways to go with getting, you know, our entertainment and getting things really going, but we are a really robust city, and I think we have potential to draw more events.
Another big event thing that's coming up, not in our city, but Colorado is about to have their spring bowl, or their spring game, where Deion Sanders is. And last year, I want to say it might have been like 1,200, 1,800 tickets. It's 30,000 tickets. This is like so huge for him. And I know that this was all a play, and like things of like, okay, we bring him here, this is what we're gonna bring to this city type of thing. And I think it was such a smart move. I remember it was either the AD or the head, somebody, I think it was the AD, was like, we don't got the money for you yet, but we gonna get it. This is how they're getting it.
Oh, yeah.
He's selling out season tickets. Like, everybody just wants to come just to see him and see the experience. Yeah, you know, and I know that sports-wise, because I was a student athlete, is gonna bring other sports more money, because football brings the most money. So they're gonna get better recruits for track, baseball, swimming, whatever. So I'm gonna try to catch a game during season before it gets cold out in Colorado, just to see the Showtime experience.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up, and we will be right back to you guys after this commercial. Is it a commercial?
Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, where we have our next guest of the day, Mr. Al Wambo, who is the political director for the Iowa Federation of Labor. Welcome to the Urban Impact Show.
Thank you for having me, Dwana. I appreciate it.
Yes. So I don't know if you all are aware, and I'm looking into the camera when I say this, but the legislature, we sometimes don't pay attention to what is going on at the Capitol for various reasons. But one thing that I believe should have your attention is the things that they are trying to do with our child labor laws. Now, many of you might remember, and I said this at the beginning of the show, you know, being younger, when I was 14, I got my first job, but there were some strict things in place. You know, I had to be off work by 7 o'clock. My hours that I could work during the week were limited. It was very strict and followed. And I remember supervisors telling me, nope, you can't, you've met the, you can't work, nope, you can't do this. So I feel like it was followed a lot when I was working, but I'm hearing now, as Al has been sharing with me, is that they're looking to make some changes. So Al, speak to some of the things that they're wanting to do with this proposed bill. It looks like it's, is it House Bill 134?
I believe it's now actually House Bill 654.
Okay.
But so some of the changes that unfortunately they are looking to create is allowing young children to work in far more dangerous industries, including meat packing, lumber, and mining. Some of the things they're also doing is extending the number of hours that children are able to work up to 9 o'clock at night or later in certain circumstances. They're allowing kids as young as 14 years old to carry at least 50 pounds. I mean, there are plenty of 14 years old individuals I know that 50 pounds would nearly be half their weight. And to me, the most egregious out of all the things that they are proposing within this new law is allowing kids as young as 16 years old to work in places where they serve alcohol, including restaurants and bars. There is no way on earth that I think a 16-year-old should be in a place where they are serving alcohol to adults. That just speaks to a lot of different problems, and we can obviously talk more about
Right.
those. But the overall problem we have is a lot of us work jobs when we were young. I did, but the problem is now we're allowing kids to work in very dangerous types of professions. We're allowing kids to work much, much later. We are allowing kids to work around alcohol. All of these things I think are bad. Some of the industries that they're proposing to allow children to work in are dangerous enough for adults, let alone allowing children to be in some of these situations. I myself am a former safety administrator with a construction company, and on a good day in some of these jobs, people get injured, sometimes severely, sometimes losing limbs. And when we talk about somebody who's 16 years old, I don't know about you, Dwana, because you're smarter and nicer than most people, but a lot of 16-year-olds don't pay attention very well.
Right.
And they think they're invulnerable. So when you put them around heavy equipment,
Right.
power saws and power tools, I don't think that is a recipe for success.
Right.
And especially allowing children to work that late. When are they supposed to sleep?
Right.
When are they supposed to do your homework? These are all problems I have.
So I'm going to just kind of play the other side of this and say, but we have a labor crisis here, jobs need to be filled. I'm sure someone at the Capitol has probably said, but we need to fill these jobs. We need to get them filled. The only way that we can get them filled is by making changes, with our 16 and 17-year-olds. Look here, they're almost adults anyway. So let's go ahead and start letting them act like adults. What is y'all's response to that?
Well, first of all, we actually don't have a labor crisis.
Okay.
What we really actually have is a pay and benefits crisis. People are being asked to work lousy jobs for lousy pay and lousy benefits. So they're deciding, I would rather go to Uber or a DoorDash or
Right.
something else. I'm not going to work at a terrible job that is also dangerous
Right.
for a small amount of money. Now, saying that the best way to fix that is allow our children to do that is really, really absolutely unacceptable. Having worked in the pipeline industry myself, we had 18-year-olds that worked with us. And I can tell you right away that even though they were allowed to work with us at 18, that was very dangerous and created problems. So having somebody as young as 16 in that same type of position or in similar work seems to be very dangerous. So
Right.
the first thing is we need to pay people better. We need to offer them better benefits if we want them to come to these jobs.
Right.
The other thing is we've become so excited about making sure we lock up our borders and we have to stop immigrants,
Right.
not realizing that a proper immigration policy also helps us fill jobs. In fact, Ronald Reagan himself said that a proper immigration policy was what America needed to solve its labor problems. If we think the best way to save labor problems is to turn to our children, then I think that we've really taken not only a step back as a country, we've taken a step back morally.
Right. But I know you're really passionate about it. I had to ask that question because I feel like I've heard that come up about, well, you know, we're just trying to fill this need. We're trying to do that. So that was really my reasoning in bringing up that question. I'm sure you've probably heard some of those things before. But talk about what people can do because, you know, we know what's going on at the Capitol. There's lots going on there. There's lots of bills that are being pushed through. But we do know that there's power in people's voice.
Yes.
So will you talk to the viewers about what they can do with this particular bill and how they can find out more information about this bill as well?
Sure. So one of the things you can always do is to call or email your state legislator and your state senator. And it doesn't have to be anything long or eloquent. It can be something very, very short. It can just be a one sentence, email that says, vote against this bill. This will hurt my family and my children. And then send that in. Calling them works. You can also go down to the state capitol yourself. Many people may not realize that all you need to do to get a meeting with your state rep or state senator is to go in there, fill out a small postcard-sized piece of paper that has your name, your date, who you're there to see, and then they will come out and visit with you. And I will also tell you that a lot of these legislators don't necessarily read every line of this legislation. You are the experts on the issues that you care about. So you need to make sure that you are the one going down there face to face and talking to them about this. Also, we're calling for a day of action on Saturday, March 25th at 10 a.m. in the morning. We have several different organizations that have signed up to be a part of this. Organizations like SURGE, the Des Moines branch of the NAACP, LULAC, the Unity Coalition, Interfaith Alliance, and they're all coming together to say that this is bad and it needs to be stopped. We're working on a location right now, but as soon as I get the location, I'll make sure I pass it on to you. Please show up at this. Mass action is the best way for us to tell those in power that what they're doing is wrong and it needs to stop.
Yeah, well, thank you, Al, so much for coming and sharing a little bit about this. And here at the Urban Impact Show, we take no sides, but what we do care about is making sure that you are informed about the issues that will have an impact on you, on your families, on your kids. We want to make sure that you're knowing what's going on. And not only that, that if this is something that bothers you, that you're able to show up. Again, I'm going to repeat that next Saturday, March 25th at 10 a.m. Make sure you check out and like our Urban Impact Show page. We'll have information there on where the location will be. If you want to look up this bill anymore, is there any way that they can get that information, or can I get your contact information so they could reach out to you if they wanted more information about this bill?
Sure, people can reach out to me directly, or if they just go to iowalegis.gov, you can look up the legislation there. But I would certainly encourage anybody who would like to contact me to find out how they can do more in order to oppose this particular legislation.
All right, well, thank you so much. Again, make sure you read up on this, know this for yourself. Show up next Saturday if you're able to, March 25th at 10 a.m. We will be right back, and we're going to take a short break as we bring the Urban Impact Show to a close. Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, where we have made it to the end of another show. This time goes by so
I know.
fast. I'm like, and you're thinking, what are we going to fill it with? And we all find ways to fill it because I've got two amazing hosts next to me that do a really great
Thank
job.
you.
Yes, of
Likewise.
filling things in. So I love the work that we do here together. But just any thoughts on the show today, Jamal, or just anything in general going on? Maybe you want to get out there as we're bringing the show to a close.
Well, I got boot camp still going
That's
on.
right, yes.
And tomorrow at 5 in the morning. But other than that, I thought it was pretty interesting about the labor law.
Yeah.
That was dope. I mean, that was something different. So I do believe kids should work, but not under certain conditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to set them up for success. I don't think that's setting them up for success. I thought today was a pretty good show. I think Al's segment was really good. I think a lot of us didn't know a lot of that was going on, and just kind of what our job is to kind of stop some of these things. So
Right.
I thought he did a really good job at explaining that and giving us some direction towards what we need to do.
Yeah, and Al did what we would like to encourage our really listeners to do. He reached out to me and said, this is something that I'd like to talk about. Could you come and support on Saturday? And I said, well, you know, the media company, of course, is not an entity that would be able to say we're for or against something. I said, but we do have the opportunity to let you on the show to educate and let us know what's going on. And so I want to encourage that with our viewers as well, is that if there's a topic you really want to talk about, or if there's something you want to educate people about, this is why we're here. Like we can figure out things to talk about and bring things to you, but I think it's sometimes much more meaningful when it comes from our community. So we're very easy to get a hold of. You can reach out to Urban Impact Show and the number 1 at gmail.com. If you send an email there, we'll get that. Give us some ideas of some topics. If you want to be a guest on the show, we'll put you out there. You know, at the end of the day, this is a show for our city, our state, and it's our community. So really, this is for you. So you can do just like Al did. He reached out to me, and I gave him an opportunity to be on the show. We also, exactly, we want to be able to share, and also we're looking for you to give towards what we're doing as well. This is never an easy feat, but we do it. All of us do it really because we love it. I mean, anything else that happens is secondary, but we all really enjoy the work that we do here at the Urban Impact Show and sharing our time. And we have great people who are on the screen, and we have great people who are off the screen that you don't see as well, but that we're all a part of making the Urban Impact Show instrumental. So I thought we had a great show today. Loved both guests. I think I learned something new about both individuals.
Yeah.
So Al bringing the light, the child labor. I'm the same way. I think we need to be mindful of not making our kids adults too fast. I feel like the days of I felt like I got to be a kid growing up. I feel like now
The
we're
internet already does it.
like we're pushing this fast forward button on kids, and it's like they're adults. Like I've got a son, he'll be 18 in June, but he'll still be a senior. He's still a kid. But you know, but the world will make him think so fast. Well, you're 18, you're an adult. Go do this, go do that, go do that. I'm like, no, let him be a kid. And
aren't fully developed till 25.
exactly. So these are kids, there's our babies we're talking about. So I think we need to be mindful when we're making these laws that we don't get so caught up in the labels that we carry, Democrat, Republican, Independent. But I want you to really ask yourself, if this was my child,
Exactly.
would I put my child in that type of condition? Not only that, would I be okay if I got the call that said my child was working in a meat packing plant, or my child was selling alcohol and someone they sold alcohol to got into a crash, or someone at the meat packing plant cut their finger, or worse. Like, we have to start thinking about the laws that we make in the eyes of being human, and not off of some Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, whatever you
As a
carry.
business.
Yeah,
Everything's a
that's what we're doing. So
Let these kids stay and focus on college.
right, in school. I mean, like at 16, you're a few years away from graduation. Let's focus on that, and then let's worry about the other stuff. And so, I don't know, I haven't really dug into this a lot like I want to, but I also want us to be mindful of the why behind we're doing things, and I just don't want us to push our kids to miss out on being kids. So that's really, really my take on everything. And next week, We got another week coming. It feels like we're in March. So I remember like telling everyone Happy New Year, and we're already,
seriously, that's quick.
yeah, we're already in the month of March. So we're looking forward to continuing to serve you on the Urban Impact Show, and we'll have another round of great guests
Yep. Have a good
next
week,
week.
everybody.
Yep. Have a good week. We'll see you next week on the Urban Impact Show.